Hi, this is Dr. Mark Santa, and welcome to today's issue of Level Up. This is a podcast that helps you bring your practice to the next level. And I am really excited to have my great friend Heather Simmons here. We were, what was the beautiful island we were on? I think St.
Croix.
St. Croix last year, which was so much fun. It was great to be there with you. She is the network specialist for what we call ChiroHealthUSA, but it's really ChiroHealthUSA. And thanks for being with me, Heather. I really
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having me. St. Croix was incredible. Actually, that's where I got my third wedding proposal from Justin. So it took him 4 times for me to actually say yes.
My first. Well, he's a great guy, so I'm so happy for both of you.
Thank you.
So I'd like to spend a little time to catch folks up with ChiroHealthUSA. I think many of our listeners have heard of ChiroHealth or know something about discount medical plans and why it's important. So why don't we start with kind of just an introduction? Right?
Okay.
What's a DMPO? What's ChiroHealth all about?
Yeah. So most everybody does recognize us as ChiroHealthUSA now. So over 11 years that I've been with the network, I've really seen us kind of evolve from ChiroHealthUSA, which really is a mouthful in most cases. And ironically, Mark, a lot of people don't even know us as ChiroHealthUSA anymore. They know us as ChiroHealthUSA.
That's so Kathy Mills invented that.
Yeah. So it's always interesting to kind of see where we've come. We are in our 15-year anniversary. Wow, so we are officially able to drive in the state of Mississippi. and that's where we're based out of. For you guys that don't know, that's why the Southern accent is the way that it is. But a DMPO is a discount medical plan organization. And that model has existed for many, many years. It's really common within dental labs, pharmacies. I mean, it's just really something that is just not new to the marketplace.
Yeah. And what it does, it allows docs to actually legally discount their fees without breaking the laws of having dual fee schedules and things like that. Explain how that works, because this is a contract that the patient makes right with the network, and there are other companies out there that are, and I'm hearing from docs that the doc pays a fee to join the organization, and that doesn't make sense to me. So can you kind of explain the difference?
Yeah, so there's that C word that no one really likes to mention within chiropractic, and I don't mean chiropractic as a C word, but there's that kind of ugly word called compliance.
Yep.
Right? And there's nothing that you can do as a practice to get away from compliance. You have to practice compliance in your practice. It is just part of being a business owner. So ChiroHealthUSA is compliance. Now, is it all of the necessary steps and hoops? No, it is a piece of your compliance. And that is ultimately, Mark, if I had to say, that is always our goal. And Dr. Foxworth said years ago, ChiroHealthUSA is practicing with peace of mind. Yep. So what we do is we jump through enormous hoops to make sure that what we are doing as a company for this profession is across the board legal. So I can attest to what we do when we bring it to your clients, to this profession. Everything we do is above and beyond what we would call board standard. Yeah. It really is. I can't speak to the other company as to what they are doing is legal and ethical. I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me personally, but in that sense, it is something that as a practice, why would you want to pay $1,200 a year to give your patients a discount? When in reality, the things that we do with our doctors and their practice isn't just about discounts, and I can give stats and stories and all of these different things that definitely do make us unique. Are there other DMPOs? So I think I want to take just a moment here and really kind of elaborate. DMPO.
Mm-hmm.
Google it. Just Google DMPO, guys, and you'll see DMPOs pop up.
Yep.
Some companies do not operate under the DMPO model, which again, like I said earlier, that model's been around for years. It's vetted. It's a legal model. So always trust but verify. Trust but verify. And so I think that was Ronald Reagan that said that. So trust but verify and do your homework before you go, oh, this sounds really great that I don't have to have a conversation with the patient when it comes to their financials. So that's kind of my response into some of the things that are out there. Sometimes if it sounds too good to be true, it could be too good to be true. But there are other DMPO models that do exist. And oftentimes, if ChiroHealth USA is not a good fit for that practice, we definitely don't mind saying, here are some other options that you can take a look at.
Yes. So what this structure does, it creates a compliant fee schedule that I can offer to my patients for their non-covered services. So if they don't have insurance or if they have limited insurance. And by the way, big deal, that includes your Medicare patients.
Yeah.
One of the, I think things that most practices maybe have done in the past or did at one time is for those senior patients, because many of them are on fixed or limited income, give them a break on their therapy, or maybe not charge them for their exam, or worse, not do their re-exams, those sorts of things, which is way not in compliance. And by being able to have this published fee schedule that CHUSA helps you set up, we don't just pull fees out of a hat, but they help you set up that fee schedule. You can actually legally discount your therapy, your exercise, all the things that those senior citizens deserve to have, and be compliant with Medicare laws and regulations, which is, I think, talk about pillow factor, sleeping well at night. That's probably the number one big one. But CHUSA's, it's not just for Medicare, it's for all non-covered services. And as we know, insurance, unfortunately, isn't increasing and having more coverage, it's contracting. And we're seeing less and less and less coverage. And so, I have some clients, when they come on, they're actually being paid by some of the managed care organizations less than what Medicare pays for a visit. And, there's a cost to deliver a visit. And if you're costing you more to deliver that visit than you're able to collect for that visit, you're upside down, and there's no way volume can make that up. So being able to charge a fair price that actually honors and recognizes the service that you're doing through CHUSA, I think puts chiropractic in a much stronger, better light than accepting some of these plans out there. Heather, it's like 4 or 5 visits and then it's overutilization. $27, $25 they're paying for a visit. That's not what you became.
Let me give you an interesting number here, Mark, right?
Yep.
And I always challenge practices to kind of use the imaginary scenario. Imagine if my practice wasn't tied to all of the insurance. What if, all of those things. Did you even know that over 95% of CHUSA providers that participate with us have told us, 95%, it is easier for them to transition from insurance to self-pay?
Yes.
95% of our providers. That's not me saying, all right, dump insurance. This isn't a bash that, because I always tell my providers, look at the demographic. Who are you serving? Because you may have a large population of teachers, right? Then
Yes.
you're in a small town and their insurance is reasonable, copay, reasonable deductible. You wouldn't want to necessarily be out of that insurance, but how do you transition patients? How do you transition out of some of those really crummy networks to not have to be kind of what I would say shackled by that? So I see a lot of different aspects. So 11 years has been my journey with ChiroHealthUSA thus far. It's been amazing. Started out as the front desk girl, by the way, answering the phone, just talking to everybody. And I was wondering why they were leaving me there for like 18 months. I was like, there's no way. Everybody in this company moves up so quick. I mean, there were like 3 people ahead of me, but nonetheless, it was because of having conversations with people, right? And I feel like that's what I'm really good at. So what I've transitioned to in my role is I don't just take a practice and say, all right, these are the discounts. What do you want your discounts to be? I want to know what your goals are. What are your practice goals? Where are you at today? What do you want to achieve? Do we want to bring on an associate? Like, what do we want to have more team members? Do we want to introduce other services? Sometimes doctors are really stuck with, Heather, my overhead is really high. You would be astounded at how many practices don't have a clue what their overhead is. So I have an overhead calculator. I'm going to get you started on an overhead calculator.
Beautiful.
I want you to take in mind, think about that visit average. I had a doctor in Idaho came to me and had been with ChiroHealthUSA for a while. And he said, Heather, something doesn't make sense anymore. I'm like, okay, what do you want me to figure out here? Like, what are we talking about? And by the time that we broke it down, guess what his profit was per patient? Just throw me a number out here, Mark.
Well, I would hope be 30%, something like that.
It's worse. He was only making 66 cents a patient.
Oh my goodness.
Can't make it up. And I'm thinking, how the heck have you survived? Thank
Yeah.
goodness that was 2020 was when we looked at that, because if that were today, his doors would have been shut.
Yep.
Right. And so being mindful of your actual fees, your usual and customary rates. So many practices come to me and they say, oh, it's been 10 years.
Well, that's right. I hear that all the time. I ask, so when was the last time you looked at your fee schedule, and when's the last time you changed your fees? And it's very often 5 years, 10 years.
5 to 10, 20. I've had 120. I'm like, oh my, like
Yeah.
Insurance in most cases will pay doctors more. That I see that because chiropractors have such a compassionate heart.
Yes. Yep.
Such a compassionate heart that they're afraid to value themselves because they're afraid that patients won't pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so they're afraid to make those changes. So another interesting fact that we've got with ChiroHealthUSA is that our practices within their first year of being with CHUSA experience on average, 20% or greater increase in revenue by using a discount plan.
Exactly.
To earn more money. Like, it happens. And our doctors tell us this all the time. This was the easiest thing that I could do because it literally costs practices nothing to be part of the network.
That's right.
Nothing. So when we talked about paying $100 a month, $1,200 a year for that other group, okay, go do that. But how are you going to vet your discounts? What are you going to do when something happens? Or you could be part of ChiroHealthUSA for nothing. We're going to look at your overhead. I'm going to make sure that you're set up for success. I'm going to train your team to have a financial conversation. And oh, by the way, I'm going to stay with you forever if you need someone.
That's the wonderful thing, because, there is turnover with staff, and to be able to have get somebody up to speed, onboard them, and be able to have the conversations that you can have with ChiroHealthUSA. Just think about the new patient conversation with CHUSA versus the new patient conversation without CHUSA. So somebody calls your practice, and the average practice who's not on CHUSA is going to say, well, it depends on, what does it cost to see the doctor? Well, it depends on what you need and what your condition is and what the doctor prescribes on your visit. And if you have insurance, we'll take the information over the phone and we'll verify the benefits for you. So when you come in, we'll have an idea of what your costs are going to be. versus tell me how that conversation goes with the ChiroHealthUSA.
Yeah, Miss Smith, on our first visit, what we're going to do is your exam, your x-rays, and whatever necessary services you need. Our actual fees are typically in the range of $350 or more. However, we do have ChiroHealthUSA in our office. Miss Smith, that's just our legal way to pass on some savings to you and your family. So instead of you having to worry about it being $350 or greater, what we can tell you is the most you'll spend out of pocket on that first visit is $150.
And I'll tell you, if you are a front desk CA and you're the one who's answering that phone and you're having to do the tap dance without ChiroHealthUSA,
right,
that alone is worth the whole program right there, because you no longer have to be afraid of shoppers. You really can have a very strong, confident conversation with folks, and I think that honestly tees up the whole relationship, the doctor-patient relationship, the practice team relationship, right from the first call. And I can see why that's transformative. You're definitely going to get more new patients coming in if you're able to have that proper conversation. Right.
Patients expect that these days. As consumers, we are even taught, I'll say within the last 18 months, our local here in Mississippi news channel aired a whole segment on your doctor's offices, the doctor's visits, and asking for cash fees.
Right.
Right. But the honest to goodness thing, Mark, and you know this, is you never know who's on the other end of the phone.
That's
So
right.
as soon as you admit that you have a cash fee, well, we've just kind of opened up a potential whole can of worms. But patients are going to ask because they are more, I know more about my insurance now than I did 10 years ago.
Right on.
Right. It's that this whole market has shifted, and you want to be able, to your point, and to have a clear path to make sure you give them the information so that they don't have to continue to shop. And as a consumer, when we hear it could be $350 or more, our brains kind of start going, oh my gosh, like that's a lot, right? That's a lot to go through. Or, Miss Smith, I don't want you to worry about it. For those exact same services through ChiroHealthUSA, you would never expect to pay more than $150. So I'm giving that as an example. Our providers do get to set their level of discounts, and be very clear. Practices across the nation have the opportunity to say, well, this is my bottom line. I need to make this, or this is kind of where I need or want to be. So the level of discounts in Florida versus New York versus California can all be different.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of the program. So Heather, what are the action steps that somebody would take? So they've heard about ChiroHealthUSA. They kind of know it's something that they should do. What's the first step? How do they reach out to you? They hop on the website and schedule a call?
They can do that. So I want to be just kind of put myself out there. I work directly with breakthrough coaching clients. So I want all of your clients, anybody who's watching this, to know that here's your face, here's your person, right? I am your person for breakthrough coaching, right? So I want you to feel free to reach out to me and say, Heather, I just need a few minutes to chat with you, because here's what I'm going to do. My goal isn't always to say, you need ChiroHealthUSA. You must sign up for it. What my goal is to listen to you. Again, what are your goals? What are your concerns? What do we need to address? And I've got trick questions, so be prepared. But what ultimately I'm going to do is determine whether the discounts that you're providing are good. Are they bad? Are they illegal? And so what that means is you're all good. I turn away people all the time to say, you are doing it the right way. Mm-hmm. It does exist. Doing it the right way does exist. And what I mean by bad means that I may say, you're almost there. If you make this little tweak, this transition, you'll be good. And then there's just the downright illegal. This is what I've been doing. And I say, all right, we need to fix it. You know what your options are now. Obviously, the path to least resistance would be ChiroHealthUSA, and we can just make it a seamless process. So feel free to reach out to me directly. Our process to onboard credentialing is just like that. There aren't any hoops that practices have to jump through to come on board with ChiroHealthUSA. It can be done in one day. It's really up to the doctor how fast they want the process to move. But we can be rather quick with it. I do have an incredible team member, Sheena, who helps me with gathering some paperwork, some different pieces, and getting you guys scheduled with me. But I'm going to throw it out there for everybody. Email me, and I will definitely get in touch with you. And it's easy. It's heather@ChiroHealthUSA.com.
Can't get easier than that.
That's it. That's it.
Well, Heather, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. And if you're listening, two things. If you are a CHUSA member already, call Heather, check that fee schedule, make sure it's where it should be, make sure you're using the program in all of the various areas that you can in your practice. And if you're not, call Heather. Give her an email, set up a call, set up a time, and find out how easy it is to get that pillow factor, be able to sleep at night, knowing that you are providing discounts to those patients who need it, honoring your chiropractic profession, and doing it right, doing it the right way.
Yeah, we donate back to this profession. That's something that many of you have heard of Dr. Ray Foxworth. He is so dedicated to seeing this profession, along with Dr. Mark Santa and so many others, continue to move forward. And we, again, 15 years old, but we are so humble with the information I'm about to say. We've donated over 3 million back to this profession, and that is something we really take it to heart. And ChiroHealthUSA isn't a job for me or my team members. It is an opportunity to serve you guys. So if you've been on the fence about ChiroHealthUSA, whatever it is, all you got to do is email me.
That's perfect. So this is Dr. Mark Santa. Heather Simmons, thank you so much. I'm sure I'll see you on the road soon. And for all of our listeners, I hope you make today an exceptional day. This is Dr. Mark Santa signing off. Thank you all.